what I'm going to do is pull up the code that you sent me, and we can just work on it, right? In the gist.
Mm-hmm.
All right. Guessing game. Is my screen shared with you?
Mm-hmm.
All right. There it is. Is it too big? Can I shrink it just a tiny bit and you can still read it?
Yeah.
How's that? How's
Mm-hmm.
that? How's that? No. A little bit. Just the more I can fit on there, the better. How about that? Can you
Yeah.
read that? Okay. Um,
So one mistake that I found is on line 8.
yeah.
That gets chomp should be dot two underscore I for
So you found that. I
yeah.
didn't. I didn't mention that to you, but I did notice it. Mm-hmm.
And then let's see. I think that was the biggest thing. I mean, once I fixed that and then I fixed line 12,
Okay.
it all worked the way that I was wanting it to.
Right.
The only thing that I'm suspecting though is that because line 26 starts that method all over again, I'm thinking it probably reassigns a random value, right? To
Yeah.
random.
Yeah. It does. So what's the behavior you want? You want someone. Basically, you want them to be able to keep guessing.
Yeah, I want them to keep guessing, and I want the number that they're guessing to stay the same. Because
Okay.
one situation I found out I played through the game once, and I went through all 10 numbers, and it kept telling me no because every time I would guess, it would re-randomize.
Yeah. Are these comments your words? Did you put these in here?
Yeah.
Okay. Well, so this is fine. Like, this is where you start the game. We're going to play a game, ready to start. I guess if you hit no, let me just see what happens here. What's this called? If I say no, oh. All right. And then if I just hit nothing, okay, I like that. And then if I hit yes, let's try it again. Yes. I'm thinking Origin 110. And if I get really lucky, I'll get, I got it right. That's just who you're dealing with. That's how I roll.
Okay, try it again because this is what was happening. See, this is what would happen. Okay, so since then
How do you know I'm not just really good at this? Wait a minute.
since then I've
See, that time it didn't work. You see, that was a 1 in 100 chance I would get 2 in a row, but I didn't. All right.
okay.
So it's working, I think. So, what you can do is like, just to debug it, is we can just spit out what the actual number is here. See this line?
Mm-hmm.
And then when we run it, yes. Hey, it didn't. What happened? Did I not save it? Oh, sorry. I don't want to do that. I want to spit out the random number. So up here, I can just tell myself what that actual number is. Okay, I'm ready to play. So the number's 9. So if I type 8, I get a nope. Play it again. The number's 4. If I type 4, it's okay. So
Okay, hit 9.
well, I'm not in the program anymore. I mean, it quits once you guess
Okay.
once.
Okay.
So what you want to do is loop through. So let's figure out how to do that. We know that it's able to detect a good guess. So basically, did you cover while loops yet?
I just did it today, so I'm a little fuzzy on them still.
Okay. Well, that's all you need, and the place to put it is just inside this guess game method.
Mm-hmm.
And right here, this part here where you're getting a guess, basically from line 8 all the way down through 16. Because what you're doing there is you're getting a guess, you're comparing the guess, and based on what it is, you're giving feedback. So it's really, you'll be surprised how easy this is, right? So watch this. You can just surround this block in a while block. So I'm going to indent this and then say while. Well, there's a lot of different ways to do it. I'm trying to think of. Okay. Okay, let's do it like this. And I think I need a do at the end. All right, let's see if that works. And I'll explain it in a second. I hate it when it gets cluttered like that. Okay. Want to play? Yes. Is it 1? Is it 2? Is it 3? Is it 4? 5? 6? Yay! That's what you want, right?
Mm-hmm.
And then I don't know if you want to like actually quit once they get it right, because the game kind of gets a little less fun. At that point.
I've changed it since then. Should I repost what I had, or?
Oh yeah, can you post that in the gist again?
Yeah. Should I just do it in the comment, or do I create a new gist?
You can just dump it into a comment. And
Actually, I'll just edit the whole gist and just update all of it.
All right, that's fine. Because I want to explain why that while loop probably looks weird, and I want to explain what's going on there.
Oh, where'd it go?
Do you get a little endorphin spritz when you figure stuff out?
Yeah.
Right? It's
Yeah.
like, it's working.
Yeah. Okay. Okay, try that.
Okay, I'm refreshing the gist. Oh yeah, it's different. Okay, so let me put that in here. Okay, this is the new one. And, so you fixed the problems here. Yeah, right?
No, I didn't do that. That while is yours.
Oh, you're right. My bad. Let me try this again. There we go. Okay. So what happens when we run this? Ready to play? Yes. It's 8. I'm good at this, man. Can you believe this? Yes, I want to play again. Is it still 8? No. I mean, I'm basically batting like 500 on this game. Whatever. I guessed it again. All right. There's a glitch in the matrix.
What was that just broke?
Maybe it's broken. Okay, so here's your random number and thinking number. Yep. Okay. So, I see what you're trying to do. Oh, want to play again. I see. Oh, I see what you're doing. Well, let's do this. Like the wording for this, is this coming from you? You're just doing this for fun, right? For giggles?
Yeah.
Okay, so we can kind of change it a little bit.
Mm-hmm.
Let's, rather than one way to simplify it is, instead of saying, do you want to play again? Let's just make this introductory language here very generic. Like what if we said, well, what you have here is fine. We're going to play a guessing game, ready to start. And what we can do here is we'll change this answer. Like one thing that I'm really, I don't want to use, I'm very nitpicky about, that's a nice version of this word, very nitpicky about is if you have a variable, to give it a really meaningful name. Anyway, so Well, I mean, so answer is very generic. So I would call this something like, play or not. Answer.
Okay.
Something, believe it or not, if you read my code, it's filled with stuff like that. It's like so emphatic that when you encounter it, it's pretty clear. It'd be hard to misunderstand.
Mm-hmm.
We're going to play a guessing game. Ready to start? And then play or not answer. And then what we can do is put, what you have here is like, if the answer is yes, we want to play the guessing game. And if the answer is no, we say some other time. So let's do this. We'll put all this in a while loop. While play or not answer is not equal, or while it's not equal to no, then we're gonna do this. And so instead of, right now I'm going to comment this out because I don't actually want to play the game, and I'm just going to put, fun game, just so, like to pretend like we just played a game.
Don't forget to change that variable name answer to play or.
Oh yeah. Okay. You see? Okay, that's good. Okay, so now if we run this, this method we can just kind of ignore it because we're not even going to call it. So let's run this and just see if that logic works. Play or not answer is complaining. What did I call it? So outside the loop, I'm going to initialize this, right? We'll assume it's yes to start with. This isn't the best way to do it, but that's okay. Okay, here we go. We're going to play a guessing game. Ready to start? No. Okay, that works. We're going to play a guessing game. Ready to start? Meaninglessness. You didn't read the directions. Okay, good. It loops back. Enter. Good. Now if I say yes, fun game, and then it comes back. So this is what you want. Play the game as many times as you want, enter in nonsense and get rebuked, say no, and it quits. Does that make sense?
Can you go back to it so I can see it?
Uh-huh. So here's what's happening. Let's walk through it. We default to, I initialize this play or not answer to yes. Okay.
Mm-hmm.
It's probably not the best. Anyway, you get into this loop. I'm trying to think of a better way to do that. You get into this loop and it says, while play or not answer is not set to no, if it's not equal to no, then just loop through this stuff. Just do this again and again and again. And so the first time through, it, sorry for that. Why does it do that? The first time through, it prompts you, and then it gets a new value for play or not answer on line 30, right?
Uh-huh.
And then based on that, you either play the game, quit, or get a message about following instructions. And then what happens? Then it loops. Then it loops back up here, and it goes, should we loop again? Well, play or not answer is not no yet, so let's do it again. And it'll just keep doing that again and again. Whatever's inside this while between lines 27 and 40 is going to go on for infinity until somebody enters in for play or not answer.
Mm-hmm.
So, you get it?
Mm-hmm.
So then in the guessing game method, we want to put another while loop that does the same kind of looping until they get the number right.
So what's the difference between that and what I'm doing right now, or what I already have there?
Well, what you have up here is good, but eventually, like, okay, let me walk through it. Okay, I'm thinking of number. What is it? So the guy guesses. If he's got it right, Oh, I see what you're doing. Bobby, this is really interesting the way your mind works. I like it. Okay, this is like a recursive. Basically, every time they're getting the number wrong, you're basically creating a new game. Because when you call guess game, it's calling this method again, and all this stuff is going to happen all over again.
Which isn't necessarily what I'm wanting to have. I mean, okay, so like on line a minute,
By 12?
line 20 is what makes it a new game, right? It restarts the whole thing,
Right, but
right?
that's when they guess a wrong number, which you really don't want a new game. You want to
Right,
give them a new choice.
right,
What the new game here is fine if the response is
yeah,
yes.
right,
Um, oh, that's like it. Do they want to play again? Okay, yeah. So what I would do is instead of let's not do this. Do you want to play again stuff inside the game?
okay,
It's kind of like in one of the things when you're programming is capture try to put all the logic in like containers. So like the guess game should just be the game. It shouldn't be like questions about whether you like it or you want to play it again. We can put all that outside.
okay,
Okay, so we'll say we'll delete these two lines and the response here and all this stuff. You don't need that. All that. Okay, so all we want to do in guess game really is loop, is like get guesses, and if it's right, congratulate people and leave, and if they're wrong, give them more guesses.
hmm
So that we're going to do this. We're going to say, think of everything. What is it? And we're going to put this in a while loop. While, and this is going to look a little weird, but I'm saying while. Well, I'm not going to do it that way. I'll do it a different way. Okay, so I'm going to start. I'm going to assign guess to something really ridiculous that it couldn't possibly be. Right? Okay, so that's the guess. You initialize it, and then this while loop will be while the guess is not equal to the random number. In other words, while it's wrong, then we want to say enter your guess, right?
hmm
And then we get it, and then all this code's perfect already. If the guess is equal to the random number, congratulate them. Otherwise, say nope. Try again. Probably don't need to say try again because the next it's going to say enter your guess. Well, no, we can say try again. All right, and then instead of guess game, we just go back to the loop. Okay, so here's what's happening. A game looks like this. Inside a game, we get the random number, we give some instructions, we give the guess a value that can't be right, and then this loop starts. And in that loop, we get a new value for guess, we compare it. If it's right, we give them this message, and the while loop's going to end because this condition is going to be true. Or false, I should say. Are you there? Did I?
I'm processing.
Okay.
Okay, I don't understand. Okay, your condition on 7 is while guess does not equal random number,
Right.
then it'll continue to prompt them to enter a guess, right?
Right. It'll go through these lines here.
Okay. Then if the guess is equal, if the guess does equal the random number, then it says that's right, you guessed it, and then it ends. What's line 12 and 13 for then?
That's when they get the guess wrong.
But I thought line 8 was when they get the guess wrong, because that's while guess does not equal a random number.
Well, no, because Here, I'm going to replace this while with a loop called until, which is something that exists in Ruby. Did you cover that?
Okay. No, I haven't yet.
Okay.
But go ahead and show it to me.
All right. This might make a little more sense. Okay, so this is basically the same thing. An until loop is like, do this stuff here until this condition is true on the top here. So let me put it in parentheses to make it a little clear what's going on there.
Mm-hmm.
So what's happening at line 7 and line 15 are like the bounds of this loop.
Right.
And so it's just going to execute like you don't even, actually, if we do it this way, we don't even need this. Okay, so we're playing the game. Random number is, let's say it's 7. And then we come here. And so this line is executing. And Ruby's saying, well, here's a loop. Should I execute the code inside the loop? Well, let's see if I should.
Mm-hmm.
Is guess equal to random number? Well, guess isn't equal to anything. Random number is equal to 7. So, no. So since that's not true, I'm going to execute the loop. And then it says, give me a guess. Okay, then, oh, now I have a value for a guess. The guy guessed 5. No, that's not true. So then we say, nope, try again, because 5 is not equal to 7, right?
Mm-hmm.
I know I'm going real fast. Okay, so at this point right here, at the end of the block of code inside the loop, guess is equal to 5 and random number is equal to 7. And then what happens? It goes back up here to run again. And now it says, is 5 equal to 7? No. Then it says, give me your guess. And the guy guesses 2. And then it executes this. Nope, try again. And it comes up to the top again. Is 2 equal to 7? Nope. But eventually he's going to guess 7. And so then what happens? Guess is now 7. And now, oh, guess is equal to 7. So we say that's right. You execute that. Then you go back up to the loop. And you exit the loop because this condition is now fulfilled. It's like, do this until this condition is fulfilled. So until is like the logical opposite of while. But the while condition was like, while this condition isn't true, do this. So before I had this, I had while the guess is not equal to, while the guess is not correct, you want to keep getting new guesses.
Okay.
But if you
so you couldn't do while guess is equal to random number. Okay, because oh no, it doesn't make any sense. Okay, yeah, I got it.
I mean, you could, but it would be like, I don't know, yeah, you can do anything, but let's just see how it works.
Yeah.
Let's just see how it works. Are you ready to go? I'm ready.
Change it back. Did you change it back to until?
No, it's while.
Oh, okay.
But I forgot to uncomment this. So instead of just saying fun game, we're going to actually play the guess game. No. Okay, let's try it again. I'm ready. Man, it's so strict. It's because let me do, I'm going to give guess a ridiculous value. Okay, let's try it again. I'm ready. Enter your guess. Well, my guess will be, did I spell guess correctly?
Yeah.
Isn't that weird how when you look at a word long enough?
Yeah.
7, 6, 5, 4, 3. It's over. And then it says, do you want to play a game? And I can say no. So it's basically working.
Okay, but line 5 seems to be a little bit, I mean, having to have the whole thing, the whole thing hinging whether it works on whether you have that line 5, it seems a little uncomely.
It is uncomely, and that's a word you don't often hear in software, but it's apt. So yeah, we don't want to do that. You're right. It's ugly. So that's why, and this is slightly, that's why basically what I would put here is I would say while, hold on.
Or until?
No, well, yeah, you can use until, and that solves that problem. But let me just show you, like, one of the things you can do here is I can say, you know what? Yeah, until is probably the best way, but I like to do this. You can say while.
Show me this, yeah.
Okay, so whenever you assign something in Ruby, the value of the assignment let me just see if this works. Okay. No, that's not going to work. Hold on a second. Now you should probably just do until. Until guess is equal to random number. There's a much better way to do this. Well, one clean way is like this. This is like an explicit way, okay? I'll say while nah, just do it that way. Let's make sure that works. Yes. Why is it complaining? Didn't we have this until working before without assigning guess above it?
I don't think we ever actually executed it. I think you changed that to a while before we did it.
Usually, what I'm trying to figure out is like what. Usually, Ruby doesn't complain about that kind of a thing. Let me just look at that real quick. It's interesting. I guess you can't. We're in a context where you can't just use variables like that. Well, okay, so one slightly elegant way is to do this, is to just make a variable called solved and call it false. Okay?
Mm-hmm.
So we do have to initialize it out here. And then we can say until solved, do this. And then here, when the guy gets it right, we just say solved is true. Does that logically help at all?
Hold on, let me read it.
Okay.
Okay, so Heinz 6, when you say until solved, that's assuming until solved is true.
That's right. It's just shorthand for it.
Okay. Until solved is true. Okay, so why wouldn't you change it on line 9? Because right now it says if guess. Oh, okay. Never mind.
Line 9, like if they solve it, then you execute line 10 and 11.
Okay. Can we see it played out?
Yeah. 1 second here. Yep. Yes. My guess is 8. Man, I'm so good. Okay, let's play again. My guess is 8. No, wait, there's no way that's right. No, it is! I can't believe that. Okay, 1, 2, 3, 4. Okay, I got it.
Okay, so now because we have that loop with because that randomizing function on 3
Right?
is not in the loop, so now we can just assume that random is staying
Right.
constant.
Yes, you can.
Okay.
It's not in the loop. Now, I think you can. Okay, if you really want to make this really clean, you can. I think you can do this. Check this out. This is nuts. While do a conditionless while, and I think I can. I think you can just do this. Break. I think the break will snap you out of the loop that you're in. I think.
What does do mean? And do you have to take out solved on 2 now because of that?
Yeah, you don't need it, but I don't know if I can do that or not. It's not while do. I just it's while true, something like that. While true. Let's just see if this works. Hold on. Yes, my guess is 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. Yeah, it works.
Okay, so
Let's go back and look at it.
Look at it again.
Yep.
While true.
So while true is this. While true means this is never going to end ever. It's infinite because there's what you're looking at to see if the while loop should continue is just truth itself. so it's never going to change. And
okay.
There's nothing in that comparison that could ever change. So you're saying run this until the end of time, but you can break out of a while loop explicitly with that word break.
Mm-hmm.
This is not. I would never put code like this in the real world because it's kind of like it's not cheating. It's just you want your whiles to be meaningful, and whatever the conditions you're putting there should describe the problem that you're trying to solve, and this doesn't. You have to actually drill down into the code and there's the break. That must be what this loop is all about right there on line 10. But that should all be on line 5. There's a lot of different ways to do it. I like the until, or I like the solved. While solved is or until, right? Until solved is true. Is that what we were saying?
I think I think you just had true, but
solved is false. Something like that, and get this break out of here. And then here we would say solved is true.
But I mean, to what you said about the code being meaningful, I mean, line 2 is not that meaningful, right? I mean, it's just something we have to have in there in order to get it started.
Yeah. Basically, yeah, but it's not like a totally outrageous thing to have to do in programming. It's common to have to initialize things. It's basically like there's an exit condition for your code, and you need to initialize some stuff so that you don't exit prematurely.
Mm-hmm.
Normally, anyway, like down the road when you learn how to use classes, and there's a much more fun and clean way to do stuff like this.
Mm-hmm. Okay, this is helpful.
All right.
can I ask you two questions before
Yeah.
you get off? Let's see. I have them written down. Um. Okay, so one I think you already answered. So when we use single equal marks to assign a value to a variable, right? And then the double equal marks is used for comparison.
Right.
Okay.
So what makes it tricky is here. So let's go to IRB. All right. So like, is 1 equal to 2? Or, let's say A is equal to 1. So A is 1, right?
Mm-hmm.
Okay, so is A equal to 2? Nope. Is A equal to 1? It's true. But is A equal to 2? It's true. Well, A equal to 2 it's not true, it's 2. Because whenever you make an assignment, what's returned is the actual number or the actual value being assigned. So is 2 true? Is 2 true or false? Well, in Ruby, any number is going to evaluate to true. So like, think about this. Okay. Let me start over with a clean screen. All right. So A is equal to 2. And then I can say, what is the value of A being equal to 2? What do you think that's going to say?
It's going to say true.
It's going to say true, right? And that's false.
Right.
And A is still 2. A is unchanged by that. But if I say, okay, so A is equal to 2. But what if I say C is equal to 3? That's 3. What if I say, here, let's do this. Print out truth. Okay, if A is equal to 2. What do you think it's going to do?
It will say
truth. Because A is set to 2, right?
Uh-huh.
All right. So what about this?
It will say false.
Well, it just won't do anything.
Well, it just won't do anything.
Yeah. It just won't do anything. But what about this? If I say, well, hold on, let's assign B to something. So B is equal to 5. And so now let's see truth. If B is equal to 5, what's that going to do?
True.
True. Okay. B is equal to 7. Nothing.
False. Or nothing.
Yeah, nothing. But this is weird. B is equal to 4. Okay. It's going to say truth. And it gives you a warning, which I cannot believe it's actually telling you that. Because in my day, we didn't get helpful warnings like that. That's really wonderful. Look at that. It found an equal in the conditional. It should be illegal. That's so great. But what's happening is B equals 4 evaluates to 4, and 4 is a true value. I don't know how to...
So now at this point, is the value of B always, is the value of B 4?
Yeah, it got changed. And that's the crazy thing is when you use this by accident, not only is it giving you weird, it's like not evaluating the condition you're trying to evaluate, it's also actually changing the variable. Like all you want to do is compare it with something, and you're actually reassigning its value. So sometimes it's like you can have explosive side effects with stuff like that.
Okay.
Yeah. It's a mistake I've made many times. And we'll make again. Oh my goodness, someone's in my house playing the piano. All right, brother.
And then,
oh, no.
And then, what does dot push do?
Dot push?
Yeah.
Where'd you see that?
in one of the other lessons, but he's really bad about putting things in here and then not explaining it.
Yeah. Well, that's
Um,
that. You don't want Ruby the easy way, buddy. What are
okay,
you going
so
soft on me?
so when I put it in RI, is it RI, right? Is where you can type in terminal and look up methods.
Oh, really? RI. Like, where do you do that? Like this?
Yeah, hit that. No. Just
What?
yeah.
I didn't know about that. Wait a minute. Like,
so, okay, so just hit enter. No, just type in RI.
no way. Oh, man, I didn't know you could do that. All right. Well, push, I'm going to get, well, let me type. Let me read about it. Oh, it pushes something onto the end of an array. Okay.
And when I was looking it up online, it seemed like people were using dot push and dot each EACH
Mm-hmm.
in interchangeably, but I mean I don't even know what it's being used for, so I don't know how to know if it's
Well, do you know what an array is?
it's basically a list, right?
A list of stuff, right? So
Yeah.
let's make an array, and this is like shorthand to make some A, B, C, D. This is so now we have this array with 4 elements. That's the word they would use, 4 elements. So do you know how I would reference like the first element in the array?
How to do what?
How would I reference it? Like get its
zero.
value?
Yeah, 0.
So they all have like a 0-based indexing system. So if I go to 5, that's outside the array. Actually, 4 is 2, right? But 3 is the last element. You with me? All right. Well, there's a bajillion like helper methods for arrays. You can get all this stuff. You can actually, I think there's even, oh no, it's not there. That's in Rails. But anyway, push is a way to put stuff in the array. There's a lot of ways to do that. Like even though, like I can say, look at this. I can say, I'm going to add this element to the array. I can do it like that. Just explicitly choose an index and add it. And I don't even think they have to be in order. Let me see if I'm right. You see that? Like I jumped straight to 6, and so it's like, well, if there's a 6, there's got to be a 5, and they never told us what 5 was, so we'll just make it nil. That's how Ruby thinks. Not all languages are like that, but that's just Ruby's way. Okay, so push means like, look, I don't know how big the array is, and I don't care to know. I just know I want this thing on the end. So you would say array.push, and you would pass in whatever you want on the end. You see that?
Okay, so push puts the new value to the end of the array.
Yep. See, look at me. I'm just pushing all these Z's.
Okay.
And there's other functions like, I think, pop?
I've seen that. Yeah.
Is it reducing the size of the array? I'm not sure. It is. It's shrinking. The incredible shrinking array. There's a lot of little helper methods like that. Now what?
And how about each? What does that do?
Well, what each does is is called an enumerator, I think, and it is a method you call on an array or any kind of collection. In Ruby, arrays aren't the only kind of structure that has like a ton of elements together, but it's a very common one. Okay, so what each does is this. You say, what each does is you give each a little bit of code to run upon each element of that array. So for example, let's do it. Okay, so here's our collection called array, right? And so I would say array.each, and then it has this little structure, kind of like, what was the other one you were looking at? Was that each?
Yeah, each and push were the two things.
Okay, so with each, you start the block. I can say do and start a block on multiple lines, but I'm not going to do that because I'll just do this. And then you do a pipe, and you just pick. You can call it whatever you want. Nobody does that. I'm just trying to make it clear. Usually you just pick I.
Mm-hmm.
And then what comes after the pipe and your temporary variable name for each element of the array is whatever you want to do with it. So what do I want to do with each element in this array? Well, how about I capitalize it? So I'll just say some element dot uppercase. Well, but maybe I want to print that out. I want to print out the element. Well, let's just print it out. And then I'll close the block. And so when I hit enter, Ruby's going to take the array, go through it, and then on each element in the array, it's going to run print that element. Watch. Bang. You see that thing on the far left?
Mm-hmm.
A, B, C, D, E. That's the each thing executing. Now watch. I can say print some element woohoo. See it? A woohoo, B woohoo, C woohoo, D woohoo.
Mm-hmm.
Right? And that's all each does. So I could say array.each do, print, or, oh shoot, I messed up. Array.each do, okay, so now each element is I, and I can say print out I, print out I size on another line. Yeah, buddy, 3 lines and then end. And you can see it happening there. See, it prints out A, then 1. Yeah, buddy. So that's all each does. It's kind of like, what if every element of this array was like the ID of some customer,
Mm-hmm.
and you needed to go through and find each customer and do something with their data and then save it. You would basically put that inside like an each block.
Mm-hmm.
Now you're going to probably cover this, but what's really fun with arrays is this thing called map. And what map does is it basically will return. I don't want to, well, I'm kind of losing you, I think. But anyway, like I can say, I want you to do this on each element in the array, and it'll actually return a new array that's kind of been transformed. Right? I can say upcase, or I can say I dot size.
Huh.
Don't worry about it. I mean, I'm sure it's like in the next lesson.
It makes sense. What is do doing? Like when you use that a lot tonight. What's do?
Do and end are just sort of like, they just mark the beginning and the end of a block of code.
Okay.
That's all. I mean, it's the same thing as this.
Okay.
It's just like Ruby's syntactic sugar. You just have to kind of memorize it. And, yeah. I don't like...
Okay.
Yeah. Anyways. So I pasted this into the gist at the end. All right, Bobby. You're on the right track, man.
Thanks, Phil.
I mean it. You really are. You're gonna be a force.
Thank you. All right. We'll talk to you later.
Okay. Bye.
Bye.